Jade Cargill's critics aren't going to want to hear this, but WWE just made a move that proves something fans have argued about for years, and it's only the beginning. Every time her name comes up, the entire fanbase splits right down the middle. Some say she's a future icon, a one-of-a-kind athlete who was born to dominate the spotlight. Others swear she's overhyped, pushed too fast, and protected by the machine. But whether you're cheering for her or hoping she fails, WWE just sent one very loud message. Jade Cargill isn't going anywhere, and the company is finally ready to go all-in on her. From the moment she stepped into WWE, you could feel that the company believed she was different. She wasn't treated like a rookie arriving from another promotion. She wasn't treated like someone who needed to earn her place. WWE presented her like a superstar from day one. Polished videos, big entrances, heavy marketing, the kind of build-up they rarely give anyone. She wasn't just another signing, she was a statement. But even with all that hype and expectation, the real story behind Jade wasn't just how WWE introduced her, it was the long list of plans they had for her behind the scenes. Plans that almost came crashing down before she even got started. Everything changed the moment her injury hit. Fans never got the full story at first, only rumors and silence. But later, Jade confirmed what really happened, a neck injury that completely shut down the early blueprint WWE had for her. And that blueprint was massive. They wanted her to rise toward a championship push late in 2024. Heading straight into WrestleMania 41 as one of the company's biggest attractions. That wasn't speculation, that was the direction. But once that injury appeared, everything the company had prepared went straight into limbo. The hype cooled down, the excitement faded. We had to hit pause at the worst possible moment. And that's when WWE had a choice to make. They could either slow things down and rebuild Jade from scratch, or they could wait, stay patient, and hit the accelerator the moment she was cleared. They chose the second option. The instant Jade came back to TV, WWE didn't waste a single week. They had lost enough time already, and instead of rebuilding her slowly, they switched the strategy. They didn't want her floating around the mid. They didn't want her stuck in the kind of stop-and-start storylines that kill momentum. They wanted her right back into the spotlight, and to get her there, they needed a new version of Jade one fans hadn't seen in WWE yet. So, they put her into a series of feuds that slowly warmed her back up. Naomi became the first test, giving Jade a feud that kept her visible and active without giving away too much. Then came Asuka in the Queen of the Ring finals. Another match designed to show whether Jade could handle high-pressure situations. But the biggest turning point was with Tiffany Stratton. Fans saw Jade get close to the title again and again, only for something to go wrong every time. She came up short, she stumbled, she lost momentum, and every time she got near the championship, something pushed her back down. And after that embarrassing triple threat match on SmackDown, the criticism exploded. People said she wasn't ready. They said WWE was forcing her. They said the push was failing before it even started. But WWE wasn't just experimenting, they were building frustration on purpose. They were getting the audience to a point where Jade had to change, and they pulled the trigger on that change exactly when they needed to. Her heel turn wasn't random or rushed, it was the reset button she needed. As a babyface, she wasn't connecting. As a villain, she could tap into everything that made her stand out in AEW without copying the exact formula. WWE finally had the version of Jade that matched their vision. Aggressive, ruthless, confident, and dangerous. That's why Saturday night's main event mattered so much. When Jade stepped into the ring with Tiffany Stratton, WWE wasn't looking to create a competitive classic or a long dramatic back and forth. They were looking for a message. A message. To the fans, to the locker room, and most importantly, to Jade herself. This wasn't a match. This was a reset. A statement performance. The company knew Tiffany's knee injury would give them the perfect cover to make the match one-sided without burying Tiffany's credibility. So they used that moment to show exactly how powerful this new Jade was meant to be. It wasn't slow, it wasn't complicated, it was decisive, it was brutal, and it left no room for confusion. WWE finally crowned her the way they originally intended: dominant, loud, and undeniable. But while fans were still arguing about the finish, Bully Ray stepped into the conversation and dropped a take that lit the entire discussion on fire. He went on Busted Open Radio and didn't just praise the decision, he demanded that WWE push Jade even harder. And coming from someone as polarizing as Bully Ray, that's saying something. He told WWE to put their foot on the gas. Not halfway, not carefully, all the way to the floor. In his eyes, this isn't the time to experiment, this is the time to strike. He compared her rise to other stars who left AEW for WWE and ended up thriving once the company fully committed to them. And in his mind, this was the moment WWE finally said, okay, it's time, we're not holding back anymore. But that wasn't the big part. The big part was when Bully Ray took things even further. He didn't want Jade to just be a dominant champion. He wanted her to be a destructor, someone who crushes everyone in her path. No competitive matches. No long back-and-forth battles. No, maybe she'll lose tonight. He wanted her to walk in, destroy whoever was standing across from her, and leave. Quick, violent, decisive, a wrecking ball with a championship belt. And he didn't even try to hide the reality. If WWE does this, it's going to piss off a lot of fans. People will say it's her AEW run all over again. They'll say she's being protected. They'll say she's only winning because WWE wants her to. But Bully Ray doesn't care about any of that. He wants a monster. He wants someone who looks unbeatable. Now, there's a real argument to be made here. Doing squash after squash after squash can get old fast. It loses impact when you see it every week. And if WWE isn't careful, fans could turn on Jade even harder than before. But to be fair, there's also a reason this style worked in AEW and could work here. Jade is still developing in the ring. She's powerful, she's athletic, she's charismatic, but she's not built for 20-minute technical showcases. Not yet, maybe not ever. And that's okay. WWE has always protected rising stars by booking them in roles that highlight their strengths while they grow behind the scenes. They've done it for decades with people who turned into legends. But here's where things get messy. The real problem wasn't the title win or the dominant performance. The real problem was how they got there. The road to Jade's big moment was full of stop-and-start decisions, weird detours, and booking that didn't seem to know what it wanted. The Tiffany feud dragged longer than necessary. The triple threat match added nothing. The SummerSlam booking was the biggest head-scratcher of all. WWE didn't want to beat her, but they didn't want her to win either. So they shoved her into situations that protected everyone but didn't help her. That hesitation nearly derailed her entire momentum. And Bully Ray wasn't shy about saying exactly what he would have done differently. His idea was simple. If WWE didn't want Jade losing at SummerSlam, then they should have turned her heel right after the match. Rip off the Band-Aid, flip the switch early, and start the destructive version of Jade months ahead of schedule. In his view, WWE wasted time. They circled around the same spot again and again when they could have been building the version of Jade fans are seeing right now. The journey was much longer, messier, and bumpier than necessary. But eventually, after all the curves and delays, the final destination stayed the same. And that brings us to now. Because regardless of how you feel about her, whether you think she's overhyped or whether you think she's the future, WWE is finally in the place they wanted to be years ago. Jade isn't a project anymore. She isn't a mystery signing or a future prospect. She's the centerpiece of a division that desperately needed someone new, someone fresh, someone who looks and feels like a genuine star. We wanted her to be special, and now they're booking her like she actually is. The only question left is whether they'll stick with it. Will they actually go Elin and let Jade run wild over the entire women's division? Will they keep her dominant for months, maybe longer? Or will they hesitate again like they did before? WWE has the chance to create a run people talk about for years. They have the chance to turn Jade into the kind of unstoppable champion fans love to root for or love to boo. Either way, one thing is clear. Jade Cargill is finally standing exactly where WWE always wanted her to be. And for the first time since she signed, the company isn't slowing down. The only thing left to see is how far they're willing to go.